Hey guys, Vibrant here. Welcome back to my channel for another video. Today's video I'm going to be doing a reading log, things that I've read over the past, honestly, week. I was in a little bit of a reading slump, so just getting back into it. But before I get into that, I have a special life update. I got engaged, so now I have a fiance. That's really exciting, but let's get into the reading log. I'm going to do timestamps because the first half is going to be shonen and seinen, and then the second half is going to be my shojo. So if you're only here for the shojo, just go to the timestamp. But I'm going to start with the first thing I had read is Toxic Daughter Chichan by Shuzu Oshimi. Sometimes I want to say Shizu Oshimi, but Shuzu Oshimi. This is a one-shot. There is supposed to be like a movie either coming out or is out already. This was really good. It was very eerie. Like in the beginning, I was getting like super eerie vibes. Like look at look at her peeking, above the little classroom window and everything. And yeah, she's super weird. But it's basically Chichan. We used to be friends with, I can't remember her name. Yua. They used to be friends when they were little, but then they kind of drifted apart, and Chi is like super weird, so she doesn't really go to school, and she loves carrying around these pairs of scissors. But if you like Shuzo Oshimi, you're gonna like this. I also wanted to say that I did end up reading maybe the first 5 to 6 chapters of Flowers of Evil, also by Shuzo Oshimi, which that is also really good. That girl in there really knows how to manipulate people, because now the boy is kind of doing like whatever she says, and he feels bad when she doesn't talk to him, but like she manipulated the crap out of him. So far Shuzo Oshimi is like a hit for me. I'm really liking a lot of his work. So anyone else have like any other recommendations? I did want to read Inside Mari at some point also. I know that's out of print, so just read that online, but those are hits so far. Then for the last shonen thing that I had read, I read volumes 13, 14, and 15 of Bluelock. So volume 13 was getting ready for the U20 match. If you haven't seen like the season 2, if you haven't read up to the U20 match, there's going to be very mild spoilers. I'm not going to give like any major events away, but at the end of 13 you find out who's going to be the starting 11 in the match. So that was like super hype. And it was funny, at the end of 13 I could feel the aura coming from this volume. Like this was really getting me. And then 14 was really good also, because the Bluelock 11 ended up scoring, I think they scored the first goal on U20, against U20. I'm pretty sure they had the first goal, and everyone was like super shocked. And now, I think he's Say, I don't know if it's Sai or Say. I'm going to say Sai. He is definitely getting up there on like my favorites list. He is so super cocky, but like he has every right to be cocky. Love him with his little pink hair. Volume 15, we got Reen and Sai's backstory, so you kind of see why Reen hates his older brother, which that backstory is actually really good. I also really do like Aiku on, the U20. Is a great defender. I see a lot of people say that he doesn't look like he would be 19, and then people are like, oh, have you ever seen a 19-year-old in real life? But I'm like, honestly, I feel like he could pass for like 22. I'm not thinking he's as old as, these other people think he looks, but I wouldn't say he's like strikingly looks like a 19-year-old, but he's pretty cool. So I'm really enjoying Bluelock. I'm glad I had got volume 13, and then I picked 14 and 15 up at Barnes & Noble, like off camera. So now I just need 16, 17, and 18. I'll be caught up until they do the monthly releases. So now on to the shojo section that I had read. I read Love That's an Understatement, volume 1. You guys will see this in a future haul that I upload. I have like it filmed already. I just don't know when I want to upload it. But I actually had read all of Love That's an Understatement that's like available digitally right now. So I already know what happens. But I wanted to read volume 1 because it's been a hot second since I have read this. Now, for the manga quality, the volume isn't great quality. Like you could feel the spine, I guess you could say, feel the spine. And then the pages are, I don't know, like the pictures are kind of faded just a little bit. And then I'm trying to find like a good page that you can see it on. Kind of, you can see on the bottom is just like a white line all the way across, so like the pictures don't fully fill up the whole page. And the pages, quality wise, like it's thick paper, so it's nice. But this is a really cute story about this girl Risa, who is like super over prepared now. Like she has just everything in her bag with her. People find her kind of hard to approach and think she's like a know-it-all, but she's actually really lonely. And she runs into Zen, who was just injured, and she offers him an umbrella and gives him like the closest hospital. So now he finds Risa again. He's kind of following her around like a puppy dog. So he kind of like attached himself to Risa, and it's just really cute. Zen is in a gang. He's like, you know, delinquent or whatever. So now he's kind of following her around. She's just like, what am I supposed to do with this guy? She also has a crush on her cram school teacher. So you see that also. And Zen kind of helps her along the way with that. But already in this first volume, they do kiss. I was trying to find it. Yeah, here it is, just to show you guys. They do kiss in this first volume, so it's not like it's a super, you know, long slow burn or anything, because they already vibing with each other. So definitely check out Love That's an Understatement, you know, if you haven't already. For now, I wouldn't recommend buying it just because it's not great quality, but actually do buy it because they did a one volume release to see if the series would be popular. So actually, yes, buy it so we can get the rest of the series printed. That would be great. Then I read Pink and Habanero Volume 3. So we have Kei Kurose on the cover of this one. This one, you know, cute again. The second volume kind of ended where we thought that Kei was starting to have feelings for Mugi. And then this volume just kind of continues that kind of vibe, but he's very, very, very nonchalant about it. He does get a little jealous in here. They do have a date in this volume. So if you wanted, you know, if you were looking forward to see that, that was super cute to see. They have like a whole little date, and he agreed to hang out with her outside of, because now she works with him. You know, he's as cold as ever. So if you don't really like a cold male lead, definitely skip this one. But sometimes I really do love a cold male lead. So this is a good read for me. He, like right here, was getting a little jealous because they were supposed to team up, and she wanted to team up with someone else, and he was like, you're teaming up with me. And then, you know, they have their moments. But at the end of the day, he's still a little cold. So maybe down the line, hopefully soon, he'll start realizing that he actually does like her, because he totally likes her. Then to end off, like kind of what I read this week, I ended up finishing Sand Chronicles. I didn't talk about this in, you know, any other videos, but I had read like the rest. So I'm only going to talk about volume 8 and volume 10 now, because I had completed it. Volume 8 actually covers the whole story. So there's 10 volumes. So 1 to 8 covers the main story, and then 9 and 10 are just like extra volumes. So there's extras in there. I have 9 like next to me. I wasn't interested in reading volume 9 because it was about oh yeah, all their moms as kids, like as teenagers, and then Anne's little sister also. So I wasn't like super invested in that storyline. So I decided to skip 9 altogether. But I'll go into volume 8. Man, Sand Chronicles was such a ride. Like, let me tell you, this was crazy. Like, you wanted to cry, you wanted to smile, you wanted to laugh, you wanted to, like, I don't know, stay inside for 2 weeks because what else could happen? But it was definitely wrapped up very, very beautifully in the last volume. Spoilers, so if you're interested in reading Sand Chronicles and you don't want to know what happens, spoiler right now, you know, don't listen to this part, but Anne and Daigo do end up back together, and then they do end up getting married, and having, I think it like alludes to them having a kid in this volume. Yeah, alludes to them having a kid, but then in volume 10, there's like no presence of a kid. So I don't know if they had the kid before volume 10, but volume 10 basically follows Daigo as a teacher, and that whole storyline, and then why he was inspired to be a teacher and who he was inspired by. So if I ever get the chance to own Sand Chronicles, I would totally buy it in a heartbeat. It's just very expensive because it is very out of print, but this was a really, really good read, and I would definitely recommend Sand Chronicles to, you know, whoever hasn't read it beforehand. Please check it out. It was actually really, really good. Then the last thing, I'm just going to talk about an anime that I'm watching. I'm currently watching Nana, so shout out to Sword in the Discord, because I had asked like between two things which one, and she had said Nana, and she was saying, you know, how good it is, and it is very, very, very good. This is my first time ever, oh my god, I just hiccup burped. It was my first time ever consuming Nana. Like, I've never read it and I've never watched it before, so very first time for doing that. I'm loving it so much, and I think right now I'm on episode like 30, I think. So I'm watching it, like, I'm getting through it very quickly. I'm already questioning, you know, some people's choices, but going into it, I knew it was gonna, you know, be controversial, quote unquote, and get sad at some point. But it's like, in the beginning it was so cute, and, you know, two nanas just in their 20s, just living life, just figuring stuff out. But I'm really enjoying that. So that wraps up this reading log. So I have my shojo, I have my shonen, and my seinen. Very short. Like, I didn't read too many series this go around. I did have my little bit of a reading slump, so this past week I just tried to read, you know, as much as I could, because I knew I wanted to make one of these videos soon. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. I like talking to you guys, but I can only talk to you guys more if you are in the Discord. Please, please, please join and hang out with us and talk to us and whatever else. All right, but I will see you guys next time. Bye.